Hey everybody, and welcome to Mic Drop Monday with Elisa Lachelle, the Empowerment Specialist. I am so excited to talk to you guys on another amazing Monday night. So what I'm going to do is give you guys an opportunity to get your notifications and to come on live with me. I'm excited about what we'll be dealing with tonight. So as you guys come on, make sure that you say hello. Make sure that you let me know that you're watching. I hope everybody has had an amazing day, an amazing week. Just so excited to talk to you guys as you guys come on. You already know what to do. Hey Tammy, hit the share button and start to share this video with somebody else. Hey Christy, because I just believe that people will benefit from what we are going to be dealing with tonight. Motri's in the house. Yeah, let me know where you guys are watching from. I'm excited to know where you're watching from. So go ahead. Thank you so much. So go ahead and hit the share button. Before I get excited, I better hit the share button because y'all know when I start. Hey dear, y'all know when I start, it's off the chain and I kind of forget what we're dealing with, and I just go into it and just forget that, you know, that I'm supposed to be sharing this. So hey Quanta, hey Lisa. So tell everybody that you know to join us live. Listen, if you have some family members, brothers, sisters, moms, dads, cousins, whatever, hey Fave, let them know that we're on tonight. Hey Bianca, thank y'all so much. Let them know that we're on tonight. I believe tonight is going to be informative. I believe that tonight is going to give us some insight and some revelation on how to deal with things. Hey Tracy, Michigan is in the house. So you guys do me that favor. If you can think of somebody, El Paso is in the house. Hey Julie, if you can think of somebody that would benefit, and all of us, listen, this is not one of those things, hey Brenda, that's beneath us or above us. This is one of those conversations that's just needed, that we all deal with. Everybody watching has a family, and everybody's family has had a feud. And we played a game over the past week that when I got up this morning, I had no intention of even thinking about family or feud, and that game came up to me. Hey Dr. Bryant, and Long Island, New York is in the house. Welcome. And so I got this instant revelation and this instant strategy about defusing the feud. That's probably what I should have named it. I'm going to drop the mic with that, how to defuse the feud. And so I want everybody to join live. I told y'all I get excited and forget to share, but I really, really want you to get your people on. If you have a group that you would like to share this with, or if you know some people that you can tag their names in the comments and get them on. Listen, get them on because as always, Mic Drop Monday is about help, it's about hope, and it's about healing. And we never want to address issues. There's not a reason to address issues if we can't put some solutions in place, if we can't say some things. Hey Day, if we can't put some things in place that will give us a different perspective, that will give us some ways to go forward. And so I want you guys to take a moment and think, is there somebody that could benefit from this conversation? Is there some family members, some cousins? Hey Coco, are there some family members, some cousins, some relatives that could benefit from this conversation? Should I tag them? Let me put it in their inbox. Let me put this on my page. Simply sharing it on your page will give people an opportunity to come on and join and get some revelation and some insight about the family and the feuding, because that's what I want to do. You guys know that my motto is simply, you can't fix what you won't face. You already know that. Hey Miss Juanita, love you. And so one of the things that I recognize that we do is not face issues hoping that they'll go away, hoping that they'll disappear, only to look up and 10, 20 years later, same issues are coming up. We're responding the exact same way. Hey Ms. Wilcott, thank you so much for joining. Hey Christy, thank y'all so much for being on tonight. I really appreciate that. And I also appreciate you guys that are sharing, that are getting some people on. A lot of people don't like to admit certain things. And so, you know, there are certain conversations that I have where people go back and watch the replay because sometimes watching it live, it kind of puts it out there for you right there. And that's okay too. Listen, this is not about numbers. I don't care anything about that. I care about the message being received. I care about solutions being brought to people that are dealing with issues and that are seeing situations. And sometimes it takes a little insight insight and wisdom, sometimes you don't know how to provide solutions until you deal with the thing yourself. Sometimes you have to sit back, and sometimes things have to happen that give you revelation about life, about love, about give you lessons about what you should be doing. And so I was talking to somebody earlier, and they were saying sometimes what has to happen is you have to go through the process to understand the process. And sometimes once you understand the process, I remember there's a scripture that says, and when you are strengthened, you go back and you strengthen your brother. When you figure out, you know what, here's where we did wrong, here's what we could have did better, then you say, how can I share that information? How can I empower, hey Linda, somebody else? How can I help somebody else in this situation? And so tonight we are dealing with the family that feuds. Tonight we're dealing with, what do you do when the family is feuding? And so that's what I want to deal with tonight. Again, if it's your daughter, if it's your son, hey boo, thank you for watching that. If it's your parents, grandparents, cousins, whoever it is, maybe you're not the person in the feud, but you know the people in the family, share it on your page, and maybe they'll come by and they'll watch the replay. I remembered I have another page that I can share this with, and so I just want to make sure that whether you guys are watching live or whether you're watching the replay, you get a chance to hear this message, and maybe it will resonate with you or somebody that you love. Now, you guys know that this is Mic Drop Monday, a place where you can't fix what you won't face. And you also know that this is a place of help, of hope, and of healing. And so this is what I want to put out there today. Thank you guys. As you come on, you can remind people to share with a friend, to share on their page, because again, I do believe that this is going to be powerful. So let me, I'm Alisa Lachelle, the Empowerment Specialist. Y'all already know that. I hope you guys are already connected with me on social media, on Facebook here, on Instagram, on YouTube, Twitter, just wherever there's social media, go find me so that you stay connected with me and the things that I'll be doing in the weeks and the months to come. I'm excited to finish strong on this second half of 2019. So let me begin by saying that most of you all that follow me know that I've been on vacation for the last 7 days, from Sunday to Sunday, with my family. Thank you to those of you all that watched some of the lives that we did from Orlando. Some of you guys joined us for last Monday. I did a musical mic drop with my family, and we were able to sing together and share testimonies and stuff through song. And so thank you guys that watched. Later that week, I think that Tuesday, the very next day, I did a very powerful segment, empowerment segment called Don't Waste Your Oil. And if you did not get an opportunity to see that, it's on my page. Hey Britt, so make sure that you go back. I'll be sharing that to my YouTube channel as well. Don't waste your oil. And it was just a 30-minute empowerment segment that really encouraged you how to hold on to the resources and to the power that's on the inside of you. And then later that week, we did some more singing that I posted on Facebook as well. So we had a lot going on that week. One of the things that our family did on the 4th of July was that we played a game called Family Feud. And most of you guys are familiar with the show, the game show. And what happens on the game show is that you have a family that comes together to compete against another family. And what they're doing, they're feuding, they're going back and forth because they've what the host has did was he's asked 1 million people or 100 people a question, and the family gets an opportunity to say, this is what I think the people said. And then the other family gets to say, no, this is what I think. My Uncle Bobo's on, hey. And the other family gets to say, well, no, this is what I think the people said. And so they kind of feud over what answer is correct. And whoever gets the answer right, whoever gets the most points, they win. And so I got up this morning, and all of a sudden, the game show, that game, hey, Sonia and Elizabeth, popped into my head. I thought about Family Feud, and I asked myself a question, but what happens when it's not the family on the other side of the room that you're feuding with, but it's your family? It's the people that all share the same blood and all share the same name and all share the same characteristics and all have the same kinfolks. What do you do when the family is feuding? One of the things that I learned that we know how to do really well is fight. I've said this before. I said, don't just teach me how to fight, but show me how to win. And so a lot of the time, that was a mic drop right there. Don't just teach me how to fight, show me how to win. And so when the family feuds, a lot of the times we're good at fighting. Man, we know how to fight. Hey, Rena, thank you for joining. We know how to fight. Man, we know how to get jabs in. We know how to say everything we want to say. We know how to shut down. We know how to get the last jab. We know how to, pull somebody down. We know how to give it to them. Families know how to feud. And it's something about families sometimes where you get a little bit more comfortable, where you might hold back with some other people. Maybe you get a little, you go on in there with family, or sometimes where you might shut some things down with some other people. Sometimes in the family, you don't speak at all. You just rather shut down. But at the end of the day, the family feuds, and we know how to fight, but we never really learn how to win. Man, listen, this is powerful. I hope you guys are sharing. Share this on your page. Get your family on, because I believe that this is a principle of war. This is a principle that's going to teach us how to win in life. Family, especially our blood family, these are people that we got to deal with for our lives. And so it's easy to say, I'm just going to cut them off. I'm not fooling with them anymore. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to deal with them. And so, listen, Tanya, come on now. And so what happens is we learn how to fight, but we don't know how to win. And can I tell you, getting the last jab is not winning. Can I tell you, just because you shut somebody else down, that's not winning? Because even if you lay hands, that's not necessarily winning. And so a lot of the times we know how to fight, but we rarely know how to win. And the reason that we don't know how to win is because in all of our fighting, we forget how to communicate. We forget how to have resolutions. We forget how to bring up solutions. We forget how to go to the next level and actually get something done. We can fight. We can call names. We can sit nasty. We can ignore. We can shut down. We can not go to dinner. We can not go out to eat. We can do all of these things and fight. But how often do we win? And the reason why this is important is because our family, we didn't choose them. They belong to us, good, bad, or indifferent. And if you want to win in life, there are some things, there are some strategies that you have to employ, that you have to say, listen, I've got to know how to deal with this thing. That's right, Sonya, the enemy hates family. That's the first unit that God put together, is our family. He put us together, and then and a lot of the times what happens is we are so used to, and we have this mentality, oh, well, they're family. They'll always be family. So I can say what I want. I can do what I want. And we don't know how to implement measures that help us resolve conflicts. Hey, cousin, we don't know how to always put measures in place that help us understand one another, that help us interact better. It's a shame sometimes, but it's so true that sometimes we'll have more patience and more tolerance and more perseverance for people that we don't even know. But then the people that we've got to deal with, that's where we have the most conflict. And so the family feuds. And when I talk about family feuding, I could be talking about your family that lives in the house with you. Yeah, you go out in public and everything looks good, but behind closed doors, the family is feuding. The husband and wife are not getting along. You're mad at your daughter. Your son is acting a fool. The family is feuding. Or maybe it's your larger family and you love them, but you can't stand them. You want to be with them, but you don't know how to deal with it. That's right, Gail said. And sometimes, we don't even understand how to deal correctly with our family. And there are people that don't even have a family to deal with. And so what we have to learn how to do is, how do I learn how to do this thing correctly? Because the truth of the matter is, family is going to fight. Family is going to disagree. Family is not going to get along all of the time. Things are not always going to be well. But if we never learn a strategy, if we do what we've always done, then we're going to get what we've always got. Y'all heard me? If we do, hey, mother, highlight what we've always done, then we're going to get what we've always got. We got tickled. My family and I, we were looking at a video of us 28 years ago. And it was so funny that there were so many of the same characteristics that were going on back then that are still the exact same way now. And I just said, you know what? Some of it's funny and some of it's kind of sad because at the end of the day, these are people that you got to ride out for the rest of your life with. These are people that you're going to have to deal with. And so again, because these aren't conversations that many people are willing to have, because nobody wants to sit down. And I say this all of the time, truth and transparency equals transformation. I need to say that again. I hope y'all are sharing. Truth and transparency equals transformation. When you tell the truth and when you are transparent and honest about where you are and who you are, then there is bound to be transformation. Things are going to change. They cannot stay the same. I put a post up earlier. Hey, Barbara. And I remember I said, what you don't confront, you'll continue. Or you'll continue what you don't confront. And so a lot of the times we'll say, well, I'm just going to leave the situation alone. I'm just going to let it play itself out. I'm not even going to address that. But whatever you don't confront, it's going to continue. You'll wake up next year and you'll say the same thing is going on. Same issues, dealing with the same drama, same conflicts. And so you already know that I've always said, hey, Julie, my God baby's on tonight. Hey, Kaden. And you look up and you can't fix it because you won't face it. Facing it means acknowledging the fact that our issues are not going to go away. Our issues are not going to disappear. We can sweep under the rug all day, but one day you're going to be walking across the house and you're going to trip and you're going to bust your lip because all of the crap that you've swept under the rug, it's not going to disappear. At some point, we have to get to the place where we pull the carpet back and say, listen, truth, transparency equals transformation. I don't want to stay the same. No, don't bother it. Just let things stay like it is. No, I want to transform. And what the Bible even talks about is you're transformed by the renewing of your mind. Might I offer to you that sometimes the reason why we're dealing with the same stuff, the reason why people's behaviors aren't changing, the reason why we find ourselves in these same situations is because our minds have not been renewed. Hey, Linda, so glad to have you back. Our minds have not been renewed. We allow people to treat us the same way. We tolerate the same thing. We fall into the same acts because that's how I've always gotten my way. That's what I always do. And we wonder why there's no transformation. Truth, being honest about what's going on. Transparency equals transformation. And so we have to be renewed and we transform so that our minds can be renewed. Like I said earlier in my post, that whatever you don't confront will continue. It's going to continue to happen the same way. It's going to continue. They're going to continue to ask you for money. They're going to continue to make you mad. They're going to continue to mistreat you. You're going to continue to have your feelings hurt. It's going to continue to be brushed under the rug because what you don't confront will continue. However, here is the thing. There's a way to do everything. Y'all better hear me. Y'all know about Mic Drop Monday. I forgot to say this in the beginning, but y'all always know what I always say, right? If you're just watching Mic Drop Monday for the first time, welcome and thank you for watching. But if you hear me drop the mic, if I say something and you were like, man, that is a mic drop, do me a favor and hit that microphone emoji or type in the comments mic drop to let me know I'm dropping the mic. If you see yourself in something that I'm saying, if you say, oh my goodness, that's me, I see me, type those 3 words in the comments, I see me, and let me know that that resonated with you. That's exactly what you're going through. That's exactly what you see. And last but not least, I'm going to say some things that are worth repeating. If I say a phrase or something that's worth repeating, you are more than welcome to type that in the comments. This is what we do right here on Mic Drop Monday. I hope you guys are sharing. I hope you guys are tagging your family and your friends, or putting it in your group, because this is important. How do we deal with the family when it feuds? How do we deal with it? How do we activate it? I put another post up earlier today that said, don't be surprised when your life starts treating you the way you treat other people. I knew that was a mic drop. Don't be surprised when your life starts treating you the way you treat other people. Listen, that can be good or bad. The Bible says that as long as the earth remains, seed, time, and harvest. Can I give you a little revelation? Seed is whatever you put in the ground, whatever type of actions you put in the ground, however you respond to things, however you act about things. Give it a little bit of time, because what you reap, you'll sow. And then harvest means you're going to get that back. Wherever you planted it, you're going to get it back. Sometimes after the seed is planted and some time has went by, what we get back in our harvest is coming through our children. It's coming through our children's children. We didn't want to confront issues. We didn't know how to communicate. We don't know how to have things. And all of a sudden, after a little bit of time, guess what? The harvest comes through our kids. We see that they can't take correction. We see that nobody can tell them anything. We see that they get an attitude when something bad happens. We see that they don't know how to communicate. We see that they don't know how to articulate their feelings. Why? Why? Because as long as the earth shall remain, you put a seed in the ground, there is a little time that goes by, and then you get your harvest. And that's why Galatians 6:7 says, be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatever a man sow, that shall he also reap. The reason why I wanted to do this Mic Drop Monday about the family that feuds is because if we don't learn a different way of communicating, if we don't learn a different way of involving ourselves with one another, a different way of interacting, then we're just continually putting seeds in the ground, seeds of dysfunction, seeds of chaos. Do you hear what I'm trying to tell you? Seeds of all of these things that are going to come up after a little bit of time, seed, time, and harvest. And then we're going to look up, and our next generation of people are not able to talk to each other. Our next generation of people are not able to communicate, don't know how to have adult conversations, don't know how to respond instead of react. And it's because sometimes we have to take a station identification and we have to say, wait a minute. There is a way to do it all. And my granny made an excellent point. It doesn't matter how saved you are. Listen, Family Feud has nothing to do with salvation. It has nothing to do with how much money you make. It has nothing to do with your demographics. It has nothing to do with anything, because as long as you have a family full of different people with different personalities, with different perspectives, there's going to be a feud. Can I tell you, having a family feud, hey Joy, so good to have you back. Having a family feud does not make you bad. And see, here's the thing about family feuds. We put a stigma on family feuds. We think that, oh God, if we're fighting, we got to hide that. We got to run away. We got to act as though it's not happening. No. That's some of the point. That's some of the reason why we are not able to deal with our family. That's some of the reason why we're not able to handle things appropriately, is because we have a family and we have a feud, but we have not necessarily learned how to deal with our family feud. And so tonight, one of the things that I remember, the station identification, we used to say that as a joke. Station identification is when we take a moment and we stop. We take a moment and we stop. And the reason why we stop is we take the moment to say, hold on, before we figure out what's going on, one of the things that we need to do is stop, figure out where we are, figure out what we're talking about, and figure out what we need to do. Station identification. We need to know what's going on here. So we're going to stop, identify what station. You know how you're waiting for a train, or you're waiting for, you say, wait a minute, station identification. Where are we? What is going on here? Let's identify where we are right now before we keep moving forward. Station identification says we can just keep on going, but we better stop. Hey, let everybody, hey, Krista, thank you for being on. We need to figure out where we are. We need to figure out what's going on. Station identification. So one of the things, there's this scripture, and I'm shifting it a little bit in my own language. And we used to say this all of the time growing up about 1 Thessalonians, I believe, 5:12. It says, recognize them that labor among you. Know them that labor among you. In other words, in that particular scripture, it was talking about honoring people that are around you. It was talking about being aware of the people that work among you. You need to know who they are, because if they're worthy of honor, you give it to them. But I believe that scripture made a better point. It basically said, listen, know them that are around you. A lot of the reason why the family feuds, it's because we don't really know each other. Let me just be real about this thing. We know who, we know our names. We know who belongs to who. That's their child. That's my uncle. That's my aunt. But we don't really know each other. And the reason why we find ourselves into a feud is because we haven't recognized the roles that we hold in the family. And so when I thought about that scripture, know them that dwell among you, a lot of the times when families come together, whether it's for dinner or whether it's for, a retreat or whether it's for vacation, a lot of the times you're coming together for a common cause. Everybody's kind of talking together, but nobody's really taking the opportunity to know one another. You have to know them that labor among you. Know the people that you're around. And the reason why that's important is because you've got to know what role they're in. You got to know what their personality is. You've got to know what makes them tick. The reason that's important is because if you know who they are, you'll know how to address them. You'll know how to approach them. You'll know if they meant to be mean or if they were just talking out of their head. You might not take things as seriously as you should or as you want to. You might interpret what they're saying a different way if you know them, if you know what they've been through, if you know that their last divorce caused them to be a little defensive, if you know them that labor among you, then it gives you a different perspective on how to deal with them. You won't take everything to heart. There are some things you'll say, wait a minute, I need to address this right now, or wait a minute, I'm going to wait till everybody else leave and address it then. Know them that labor among you, because when you're able to identify their personalities, when you're able to identify when and where and how to say things, I promise you it will help you to eliminate the feud in the family. So I hope you guys are sharing. So as I talk about this tonight, I want to identify the types of people, 12 types of people in every family. And now it might not be in your immediate family. So maybe it's not the family that lives in the house with you. But when you think about your larger family, I'm almost certain that you can think of who fits the bill or if it's you. Y'all know I have this saying on Mic Drop Monday when I say, is it a he, is it a she, is it them, or is it me? And so I'm going to identify certain types of family members because you have to know them that labor among you. You have to know the people that are in your family. Everybody carries a different role. Some of us were just born into that role. Some of us just kind of happened into that role. Some of us take on that role because somebody was missing and we just kind of picked up that role. But when you know the people that are around you, you know how to identify them. You know how to talk to them better. You know when and if you should deal with them. And so I want to talk about, and this is not all of the roles. I know there are a million roles in everybody's family, but I want to talk specifically and identify 12 types of family members that you might have in your family. And the reason, again, why that's important is because you have to understand the type of role a person is playing in your family to better understand why they said what they said, why they're doing what they're doing, why they're acting the way they're acting, why they respond to stuff the way that they do. Know them that labor among you. This is how you diffuse the family feud. You become aware of those people. So number one type of person in the family is, and you can type this in the comments if you would like to. One type of person in the family is the protector. Everybody's family has the protector, right? There's somebody in the family that has the protector role. And the protector role, that's the person in the family that's always the one that feels like they've got to look out for the other person. They've got to look out for the brother, or look out for mom. I got to look out for my sister. I got to look out for my auntie. There's a protector in the family. Sometimes it's a male. A lot of the times it's a male that's a strong personality, but sometimes it could be a female. No, I know what we've been through. I know what I dealt with. A lot of times protectors in the family are responding out of a fear that something will happen to the people that they're protecting like it happened to them. Most times, psychologically so, the protectors in the family have went through some type of tragedy, have went through some type of trauma where they were not protected, where they were failed to be taken care of. And so they take on the role of the protector in the family because they're saying to themselves, I'm not about to let my brother go through what I went through. I'm not about to let them go through what happened to me. No, I'm not going to put them out there like what happened to me. So most times, the protector in the family is the person that has went through. Thank you guys that see yourself in this. Most times the protector in the family, and of course we like to look at the protector in the family as, oh, they're the strong one. They're the ones that's always got everybody's back. But the protector in the family, 9 times out of 10, they took that role as the protector because once upon a time they were in a situation and nobody protected them. Somebody left them uncovered. Somebody left them unguarded. And so in the family, they automatically took on the role of the protector. You think they being strong and you think they being mean and you think they don't want, but it's the protector part of them. They're saying, I cannot let what happened to me happen to somebody else in the family. How do you diffuse the family feud? I'm telling you guys, you know them that labor among you. This is how you diffuse it. You first have to identify, who am I dealing with in my family? Because if I understand them better, then I can interact interact with them better. I hope y'all are hearing me. The second type of person in every family is the mediator. The mediator. Now, the mediator is the person that's always trying to find a common ground. They're the person that's always trying to pull everybody to the table to have a conversation. The mediator is the person that's saying, you come to them with something and they're saying, nah, let's pull such and such in. Let's talk about it. I'm going to sit here in case things get out of hand. I'm going to mediate. That's the mediator in the family. They're the person that always has to come in to kind of settle the disagreements. If people are kind of not sure what to do or who to do, let's call the mediator. The mediator is the calm person, the person that is sensible. The mediator is the person that makes the most sense. They're the person that's going to make everybody level-headed. They're the person that's going to be rational about things. Every family has a mediator, a person that is not, they're kind of neutral. You won't see them jumping from side to side. They're not going to defend mama and throw daddy under the bus. They're going to mediate. They're going to pull everybody together to have an adult conversation, to hear each other out. That's the mediator in the family. The third type of person in every family is the instigator. Y'all, it's getting hot in here. I hope y'all are sharing this because every family needs to hear this tonight. We're dealing with the family that feuds. What do you do when the family is feuding? And I said earlier that 1 Thessalonians 5:12, as it was talking about knowing them that labor among you, it's knowing how to identify people, who they are, what roles do they play, so you can understand why they act the way that they act and do what they do. So number one is the protector. The person in the family that looks like they have to look out for everybody else, but usually because of what they've been through, because they weren't protected and now they feel like they've got to protect everybody else. Second is the mediator, the person that doesn't take sides, but they pull everybody together to have a conversation and figure out what's going on. But number three is the instigator. Every family has an instigator. That's the person in the family that's always looking to start up mess. That's the person in the family that's always trying to do something sideways. They're always reminding people, you don't remember when they said that to you? Oh yeah, that's right, let me go address that. Or hey, why didn't this happen last time? Then we get into this same kind of issue. The instigator, the person that's continually picking at stuff, continually reminding people of things, trying to start something. To instigate something means to agitate it. It means to aggravate it. Instigators are people because they are used to, they live off of drama. They feel like that's the way that they can get the attention. That's the way that they can be recognized, is if they instigate stuff. They feel like they have drama in their lives and they're not going to be happy and satisfied until everybody else is acting a fool too. So every family has an instigator, somebody whose sole responsibility is to keep up mess in the family, always bringing something from one person to another, not so that they can have a solution, but just so that they can have some drama. Usually instigators need a distraction. I'm helping you identify the people in the family. The instigators need distractions because they want to get the attention off of what's going on in their own lives, what's going on, the things that they're not happy about. And so what happens is you got an instigator. You got somebody that's always trying to stir up drama, always trying to stir up mess, always trying to put somebody else on blast, because one of the things about instigators is they feel insecure. They feel inferior. And so the only way that they can feel better about themselves is that they call attention to somebody else's flaws. They call attention to something else that happened. They make sure they remind everybody, y'all ain't perfect either. Instigators, they do that because instigators should give you a clue that it's an inside issue. They feel inferior. They feel insufficient. Instigators are always starting stuff because of the issues on the inside. Am I helping anybody tonight? Y'all need to share because I'm going all the way in. I'm talking about 12 types of family members in this family feud. Know them that dwell among you. And the Bible was talking about being able to know who's around you so that you can give them honor. But that's a good point on how do you identify the people in your family so that you can know who to hold and who to fold. Nah, babe, I'm not going to deal with you today because I recognize who you are. Or nah, let me go to this one about that because I recognize who you are. And so I'm identifying the types of family members that we have. How do you diffuse a family feud? Well, number one, you know who labors among you. So we've dealt with the protector, the mediator, the instigator. The fourth person in every family is the dictator. The dictator. That's usually the family bully. The dictator is the one that wants to make all of the decisions. The dictator is the one that always wants to be in control. The dictator is the one that tells everybody else what to do. The dictator is the one that feels as though I'll set the agenda for the family. I'll determine what we can do and what we can't do. Every family has a dictator. That person likes to be in control. 9 times out of 10, the dictator, the reason why they're dictators is because they have a fear of losing control. They don't like feeling like they don't have control. They don't like feeling helpless. They don't like feeling hopeless. Hey, Dr. Gary, thank you, LaShonda, for being on my sis. They don't like feeling as though the world is spinning out of control. And the only way that they know how to feel a sense of peace is that they got to control everything. I'm telling you, a lot of the times we read people wrong and we have family feuds because we're looking at what they're doing and we're not understanding why they're doing it. Man, I just dropped the mic real good. I hope y'all hearing me. We're looking at what they're doing, but we're not really understanding why they're doing it. Most times the dictators of the family, they have fear of losing control. They have control issues, and they feel as though at one point something was swept from under them. Something happened beyond their control, and they felt hopeless and they felt helpless. And so they made up in their minds, I will not get myself in that position again. So the only way that I feel secure, the only way that I feel like something is going on, the only way that I feel okay and at peace is if I'm in control of the situation. So what I have to do is I have to set the rules. I have to manage everything. I have to pull everything together. I have to instruct everybody. I have to make sure I keep this all together because dictators have a fear of losing control. Most times when you have a dictator in the family, you'll never catch them somewhere. You'll never catch them somewhere just letting their hair down. 9 times out of 10, they're uptight. 9 times out of 10, they're high strung. They're over the melodramatic dictators is because they have a fear of losing control. I'm trying to help you identify, know them that labor among you. How do you diffuse? I'm going to keep saying that a family feud, you recognize the roles that the people in your family are playing. So we dealt with the protector. We dealt with the mediator. We dealt with the instigator. We dealt with the dictator. And next, number 5, let's deal with the avoider. Every family has one. The avoider. Now, the avoider in the family is the person that does not like conflict. They do not like people getting mad. They don't like people expressing their opinion. They can't really handle if somebody, calls them out on something. They're just avoidance. It's just avoidance. Let's just pretend like it didn't happen. Let's just go to God in prayer. Let's just eat. Let's go eat. Everybody, let's just go play. Let's just avoid the issue. And in their minds, they can't handle, and most times the avoider in the family is the person that really has this, they really want everything to be a smooth ride. They really cannot handle, or they don't know how to appropriate conflict. They really have not learned conflict resolution. And so they have a fear that things are going to go too far, that people are going to say the wrong thing. And so what they will do is the avoider says, let's just avoid the situation. Let's just push it under the rug. Let's just pretend like it didn't happen. Let's just avoid it. You know what? We're not going to talk about it. We're going to pray about it. You know what? We just going to sing over it. We just going to play over it. We just going to go. Let's just change locations. No. Avoid the situation. Let's brush that up under the rug. That's too much right now. Nope. I don't even want to deal with it. Avoider. Most times when you are the avoider in the family, what happens is the stress level, you have not learned how to appropriate your stress. You have not learned how to appropriate your emotions. And 9 times out of 10, the person that is the avoider, what they're afraid of is that if they put their emotions out there, once they put them out there, they might not know how to bring them in. If once I let everybody say what they want to say, am I really ready to handle the truth? Am I really going to be okay with how people really feel? Am I really going to be okay with what people really think about me and about each other? And so I tell you what, I'm not sure that I can handle that. So here's what we'll do. We'll avoid it. Don't talk to them about that. No, we're not dealing with that right now. We'll deal with it later. And later never shows up because avoiders say, I'm not. It is. And you know what? Most times the avoidance has nothing to do with the people and everything to do with them. Because how do I know? I used to be an avoider. I don't want to deal with that. I don't like conflict. I don't like talking about it. I don't like drama. I don't like confrontation. But it builds. That's right. It comes back to haunt you. It builds up and it builds up and then it shows up. Did you hear what I said? It backs up, it builds up, and then it shows up. I better say that again for the people in the back. We're dealing with the avoiders. It backs up, it builds up, and then it shows up. I hate to put it like this, but if you have ever dealt with a toilet that's backed up, you'll know what happens if you are the avoider in the family. You keep shoving it down and pushing it down, and what's going to happen is it's going to start building up. What happens if a toilet starts building up? All of the stuff you flushing down, it builds up, then guess what? The toilet is going to start backing up. And then guess what? Everything that you flushed is going to start showing up. Man, I am talking better than y'all hitting those emoji buttons. I'm telling y'all, it's going to build up, and then it's going to cause a backup, and then everything that you flushed down is going to show up. That's what happens in families. When we avoid, when we are the avoider, we think we're helping, but we're really hurting. I'm trying to tell you what's happening. We think we're helping. Well, I'm avoiding this. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to deal with it. And then it'll go away. But then now people are walking away and they feel like they weren't able to express themselves. They feel like they didn't have a sanctuary to express their emotions. They feel like there was not a safe place for them to entrust how they feel and to say what they think. They feel like, you know what? This is not a good place for me. And so what happens is when we avoid it, we back it up. Then it builds up. But guess what? Inevitably, it's going to show up. I'm talking about family that feuds. Know them that dwell among you, that labor among you. You need to understand the type of people in your family so that you can understand why they're acting like they're acting and how to respond to them correctly. Number 6, the 6th type of person in every family is the troublemaker. Now, y'all can sit there and look cute and act cute if you want to, but every family has a troublemaker. That is the person that's always starting something. That's the person that's always into something, whether it's drug or whether it's alcohol or whether it's drinking or whether it's women or whether it's men. It's that person, the troublemaker, that's always making trouble, and somebody else has to always come back and fix whatever it is that they've messed up. Every family has one, a troublemaker, a person that's always getting in trouble, never quite getting it right, always into something. Now, let me tell you a little bit of something about the troublemaker, because most times in the family, you know, the troublemaker has one or two persons that's on one of either side. They have an enabler, a person that feels so sorry for them that they enable them to keep acting the same way. Y'all don't talk about them. Just don't say nothing to them. They're going to get over it sooner or later. Let's just pacify them. Or they have somebody that's always rebuking them and causing them to feel bad so that they never want to come around, so that they never feel like they have any hope. You see how I'm helping tonight? I'm telling y'all, you have to identify the people that are around you. The family feuds because we don't recognize one another. Y'all better hear me tonight. The family feuds because we don't know how to identify each other. The family feuds because we don't know how to communicate with one another. The family is feuding. And so, yeah, the troublemaker is usually the drama queen sometimes. But let me tell you something. The troublemaker is the person that's in trouble. They're in trouble. Listen, they making trouble because they're in trouble. Y'all hear me clearly. They're making trouble because they're in trouble. Most times the troublemaker is labeled. We label them, and then they're going to own up to the role that we're giving them. And so we wonder, why you always show up at every event drunk? Well, didn't you expect me to? Why you always show up at the event acting a fool? I knew you was going to act a fool. Didn't you expect me to? Why you always show up at the event with some strange woman? Well, didn't you expect me to? The troublemaker is making trouble because they're in trouble. And a lot of the times we can identify the action, but we never look hard enough to identify what's wrong. And so troublemakers are in trouble. However, we have to be careful with troublemakers because we have somebody in our family that's the enabler. And that's not the person I'm dealing with, but because I linked them to the troublemakers. Be careful that you're not an enabler, that you're not enabling a person to use their issue as a crutch. Well, y'all know when they drink, they start cussing. Well, y'all know when they get mad, they start fighting. No, we can't enable troublemakers, but they're acting like that because they're in trouble. Do you know what the Bible says? I think I talked about this in my mouth mistakes series, I remember saying that, you can, whatever we are, we're bound up, and we're captivated, and we're caught, and we're entrapped, because sometimes what we say, it's our words, they will snare us, they will bind stuff, and they will loose things. And so sometimes troublemakers make trouble because we're the ones that's we're continually labeling them that way. That's how we identify. Oh, Lord, here go drunk such and such. Oh, Lord, here go lying such and such. Oh, here comes cussing such and such. Oh, here goes such and such. And we're labeling them that. And do you know what they say? That's the role. So if I'm going to do it, let me do it well. And they play that role out. But the troublemaker is really in trouble. It's really in trouble. I hope I'm helping. How to diffuse the family feud. You got to identify the people that are in your family. So many times we look at what they do, but we never investigate how they do it, why they do it, what makes them do it. Number 7, the 7th type of person in everybody's family. I hope you guys are sharing it, and I hope that you guys that are coming in late, that you go back and watch it from the beginning, because I believe that this will bless you all. The 7th type of person in every family is the overachiever. The overachiever is the smarty pants in the family. That's the person that does exceptionally well in something. The smart one, the one that's good at finances, the one that achieves something. Maybe they were a great actor, or maybe they were a good this or a good that. The overachiever, they just didn't do well, they did exceedingly well. The overachiever in the family has a very tough role to play, because most times overachievers get put in a position where they can't even allow themselves to be proud of what they've achieved, because the rest of the family look at them like they think they're all that. They look at them like they're just a know-it-all. They look at them as though they're the person that thinks they're better than everybody else, and they're not even thinking like that. They couldn't help that they were smart. They couldn't help that they were able to deal with things financially and get a leg up. They can't help that, whatever it was that they put their hands to, it blossomed. The overachievers, and a lot of the times overachievers, it would sound as though that's a good thing. This is the smartest person in the family. This is the most talented person in the family. This is the wealthiest person in the family. Oh man, they're the ones that have the most. But overachievers get labeled. They get side-eyed. No, don't ask them, because they too smart to fool with us. They too popular to want to do what we do. Oh, child, don't ask them. We don't want to bother us coming folks. Overachievers sometimes get side-eyed, and they get cast aside, and they get pushed away because they get judged by what they didn't even mean to do, or by what they did well. Every family has them. That one person that's smart, but you guys they're not even allowed to relish in it, to celebrate it, because there are some people that celebrate them, but there are some people, and I think I said this in a post before, that some people don't want you to grow because your wholeness illuminates their brokenness. They can't hardly stand to be around overachievers because they feel as though it's shining light on what they didn't do correctly. Overachievers aren't trying to make you look bad. They just are who they are. So what happens is we neglect them, and we reject them, and we push them to the side because we don't want their wholeness to illuminate our brokenness. But I told them, listen, achieve anyway, grow anyway, be great anyhow. I hope I'm helping y'all. Talking about the family that feuds. How do you identify the people in your family? Number 8, and this is a big one. Every family has a person who is the provider. The provider is the person in the family that is resourceful. Sometimes that resource is money. Sometimes that resource is something that they know how to do well for you. In either case, the provider in the family is the go-to girl, or the do-it dude. The provider in the family is the person everybody goes to when they need something. Every family has one. The provider in the family is the person that's either providing words of wisdom. We gonna call you. We don't talk to you, but when we get in trouble, we'll call you. We don't fool with you, but when we need some money, we'll call you. We don't fool with you, but when we need you to sing at something, we'll call you. We don't fool with you, but when we get ready to produce something, we know you do good work, or we know you have the resources, we'll call you. Every family has one. The provider in the family is in a very unique position. They're in a place where they feel pulled, because on the one hand, they're grateful that they have resources that they can provide to their family, but on the other hand, hand, they're rarely appreciated. They're rarely recognized. When you're not getting something from them, do you even speak to them? So the provider is in a place where they want to now hold their resources because they're saying, you don't pay me back. You don't even help me when it's my turn. You don't even turn around and say thank you. You're just using me. You're exploiting me. What you're doing is you're sitting there and you're prostituting my gifts. What you're doing is you running out my resources. Providers in the family are in this position where they feel pushed and pulled. You make them feel bad if they don't do what you need them to do, but then you make them feel worse when they do it and you don't recognize it. When they do it and you don't appreciate it. When they do it and you don't even acknowledge them personally. Every family has one, the provider. And so we get together and we get mad when they close their pockets. We get together and we get mad when they don't give us what we need, because every family has one, the provider. We run them dry. We run them out. We dog them out. We use them up. But then when it's their turn, we don't give them a helping hand. We don't call them and ask them if they're okay. We don't give them a little gas money when they jump up and make sure that they're there for all of our stuff. So there's the provider in the family who wants to provide, but they're tired of getting taken advantage of. They're tired of you calling them when you need money. They're tired of you calling them just when you need to get from point A to point B. And then when you're done, when you're okay for a few weeks, you leave them alone and you don't fool with them anymore. Providers get tired, but the minute they close their purse, but the minute they close their resources, you want to talk about them. I can't believe she's sitting up there and she won't help us do that. And she knows she got all of those resources. She knows she got all of that money. He know he could have gave us something. Well, how did you respond to them when they were doing it? Know them that labor among them. You have to be able, if you want to stop feuding in your family, you have to be able to recognize the people that are in your family. Why are they acting that way? Why are they behaving that way? There's got to be a reason why they respond the way that they do. Number 9, every family has one, the pleaser, the person that just want to make everybody happy. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yeah, okay. We'll just do what everybody else want to do. They're so anxious to please everybody that they just go along with anything. Most times the pleaser in the family is the person that feels insufficient. It's the person that has an inferiority complex. It's the person that wants to be accepted. It's the person that just wants that feeling of family, that they just want to be a part of something. They just want to feel like they belong, even at their own demise, even at their own expense. The pleasers in the family. Pleasing people, not because they really want to make them happy, but most times it's because they don't want to be sad. They don't want to be ostracized. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to feel abandoned. They don't want to be rejected. And so they put this burden on themselves to please everybody, to try to make everybody happy. And when you're dealing with a bunch of people with a bunch of different attitudes, you're going to lose every time. And you know what happens? You end up being aggravated. You end up being frustrated. You end up feeling intimidated because you're the person in the family trying to please everybody. And at the end of the day, you're the person that's not even happy. I hope I'm helping. I'm at the end of my list. Number 10, I'm talking about 10 types of people in every family, and we recognize them so that we're able to deal with them better, be more cohesive with them so that we can stop feuding in our family. Number 10, everybody has one, the pretender, the person that's always faking it till they making it, the person that's always acting like everything is okay, the person that's acting like everybody's happy, the person that's acting like didn't our hearts burn, the person that's acting like didn't we have a blessed time, the person that's always acting as though there's not a fight, there's not a problem, we're just gonna go on as if everybody's okay. The pretender, they're pretending because they really don't know how to handle the issue. They're pretending because sometimes they were wrong and they have not reconciled in their minds how to go back and make it right. They pretend because they don't know what's on the other side of the conflict. They don't know what's on the other side of the confrontation. So let's just pretend like everything's good. I'm gonna pretend like I'm good. You pretend like you good. We'll pretend like it's all good. And we keep going on. And there's this cloud that's hanging. And we keep going on. But there's this chip on the shoulder. And we keep going on. But there's this feeling in my stomach. Pretend. I'm pretending because I really don't know the conflict, how to resolve this conflict. I don't know how to get some resolution to this issue. And so I'm pretending because I really don't know how to acknowledge your feelings. I really don't know how to articulate what I feel. Every family has one, the pretender. Number 11, two more, and I'm going to give you these 4 golden keys on how to diffuse the family feud. Number 11, everybody has one, every family, the overreactor. The overreactor, the person that blows everything out of proportion, the overreactor. They're dramatic. They overdo everything. Somebody says something to them, they act like their heart is literally breaking. Somebody doesn't talk to them, they blow a fuse over simple, silly things. The overreactor, they're the drama queens. They're the drama kings. They're the ones that makes it all about them. They're the ones that no matter what anybody's talking about, they're going to pull the conversation back to them and make sure you understand how they were personally affected in it themselves. The overreactor, it's not that serious. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was not all of that. Just overreacting to everything. They're reacting instead of responding. I told you all, most overreactors have childlike mentalities. They respond to things in an immature way. Most people in the family that are overreactors are the same people that still like to throw temper tantrums, are the same people that walk in entitlement, are the same people that want everybody to attend to them. Most of the overreactors are the people that want everybody to notice them, that want everybody to cater to them. The overreactors that are looking for attention. Most times overreactors, because of their immaturity, wherever they got hurt at early in their years, they're stuck there. They haven't been healed in a certain place. And so the only way that they know how to respond to conflict is to be melodramatic. It's to exaggerate everything. It's to just overdo it. Why? Well, it's simple. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, when I was a child, it's actually at the end of 1 Corinthians 13. When you get to the end, after you finish talking about love, it says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I reacted like a child. But when I became a man, I threw those childish things away. Most people in the family that are overreactors are at that place because there is an area in their lives where they have not matured, where they have not grown up, where they have not developed in their emotions. And so that's right, Jean, they're stuck in the past. They're stuck in that place where they were hurt. They're stuck in that place where they were abandoned. They're stuck. And so in the family, they're the overreactors. They're overdoing. They're blowing everything out of proportion. They acting a fool. They getting upset about little stuff. They're throwing temper tantrums. They want everybody to pay attention to them. They just going off for no reasons. They flancing around in everybody's face. The overreactor, again, they display this immaturity because somewhere at some point in their lives, wherever they got stuck, they have not matured past that place. And so they're overreacting because I need attention, because I need affirmation, because I need to be affirmed, because I need somebody to pay attention to me. And really, most times, overreactors are overreacting because they feel like they're not recognized. They feel like they're not seen. They feel like they're not noticed. I hate to tell you, but most times, the people in the family that are doing the most feel the least. Y'all better hear me. Most times, the people in your family that are doing the most are the ones inside that feel the least. They feel the least. They feel the least happy about themselves. They feel the least accepted in their lives. They feel the least protected. Most times, the overreactors, the drama kings and queens in the family are the people that don't feel good about themselves, don't feel good about where they are, don't feel good about what's going on, and so they overdo everything. They make a big deal out of it because it's attention, and any kind of attention is good attention for them. Know them that labor among you. How do you diffuse a family feud? You recognize who's in the family. Last but not least, the 12th person that is in every family is the blamer. The blamer. I don't even know if a blamer is a word, but it's the person who blames everybody, everything on everybody, who takes no accountability for their actions, who will not accept any responsibility for what they said or for what they did. The blamer. It's just easy to blame somebody else. Well, maybe I did say that, but such and such made me do it. Well, maybe I did do that, but the only reason I did it was because this happened. I'm going to blame it on my medication. I'm going to blame it on my stomach. Because I was hungry and I just said anything. I'm going to blame it on what somebody said to me earlier, and that's why I snapped. I'm going to blame it on everybody. I just went in my right mind. The blamer. Well, the reason why I'm not happy is because one of y'all said something to me and I never forgot it. Well, the reason why I'm not as good in life as I could be, because I'm going to blame it on my mama. She didn't love me hard enough. I'm going to blame it on my daddy because he cheated on my mama. I'm going to blame it on my brother because he didn't protect me. I'm going to blame it on my husband because he didn't do this. Just a blamer never takes any responsibility for what they did. What about what you did? Be accountable. The family has feuds because you can't get to a place where you can admit what you did wrong. It's just easier to blame it on everybody else. It's just easier to make it everybody else's fault. It's just easy to look at everybody else sideways. It's just easy to make somebody else responsible for an action that you took. The blamers in the family. And here's the thing about the blamers in the family. You're upset because they're blaming you. But the truth is, they're not just blaming you, they're blaming everybody in their lives. And they're stuck. And they can't get past that place because they haven't came to a place of accountability in their own lives. That's right, Miss Ingrid, they're always the victim. They're never the victor. They're always the person that something happened to. They don't recognize that life didn't just happen to you. Life happened for you. It happened for you. It didn't just happen. Well, y'all know what happened to me, so y'all know. They blame everybody. They blame this on their attitude. They blame this on the way they react. They blame you for this. They blame the sky. Anything they can blame. The blamer that never takes responsibility for what they did and who they are and why they did it. Every family has one. Now, I'm closing. I've named 12 types of people in everybody's family. And that's true, Tanya. I was just getting ready to see you beat me to the punchline. I just gave y'all 12 types of people in every family that causes family feud. But the truth of the matter is, if we were to be honest, at some point in our lives, we've been more than one of those type of people. At some point in our lives, we felt like the protector because somebody failed to protect us, and now we feel like we got to look out for everybody else. At some point, we've been the mediator. We've been the person that's tried to stay in the middle and just say, hold on, let's just see both sides. At some point, we've been the instigator. We've started up mess. We've reminded people about, well, don't you remember when she did that? At some point, we've been the dictator. We've been the one trying to tell everybody what to do. At some point, we've been the avoider. We don't want to deal with the issue because our blood pressure, because our stress. At some point, it's been us. At some point, we've been the troublemaker. We've been the one stirring up mess. We've been the one acting a fool. At some point, we've been the overachiever, whether we're doing it for attention or whether we're doing it unintentionally. At some point, we've been the provider, always doing everything for everybody all of the time, losing all of our sleep, giving up all of our resources for the benefit of everybody else. At some point, we've been the people pleaser, trying to make everybody happy, and we end up upset. At some point, we've been the pretender, faking the phone, making it seem like everything is okay when we know it really is not. At some point, we've been the overreactor, just just drama city. And at some point, we've been the blamer. We've blamed everybody for everything except take responsibility and accountability for who we really are. I'm going to leave you with these 4 golden keys. The first thing we have to do to defuse this family feud is have some awareness. I've helped you recognize people in your family so that you can recognize them a little bit better, so that you can understand where they're coming from, so that you can empathize and understand you've been in that place too. The second thing you have to do is acknowledge. Listen, I say this all of the time. Honor your emotions. Don't get me wrong. People have the right to feel however they feel, but they don't have the right to do whatever they want to do. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Everybody has the right to feel however you want to feel. I believe in honoring your emotions. You have the right to feel however you want to feel, but you do not have the authority to do whatever you want to do. You don't have the authority to make everybody else's day miserable because you're miserable. You don't have the authority to talk down on somebody else because you've had issues yourself. You don't have the authority to make everybody else uncomfortable because you in a crazy place in your life. You have the right to feel however you want to feel. I have a saying that our feelings owe us no account. Our feelings don't explain themselves to us. So you have the right, acknowledge how you feel, but you do not have the authority to do what you want to do. No, you don't have the right to cuss people out. No, you don't have the right to shun people. No, you don't have the right to be verbally abusive. No, you don't have the right to be mean and stuck up. No, you don't have the right to have an ugly attitude. No, you don't have the right to snap at people. No, you don't have the right to dishonor people. You don't have the right to do what you want to do, but you have the right to feel however you want to feel. Honor your emotions, but tame your actions. Man, y'all better hear me tonight. Honor your emotions, but you better arrest your actions. That's a better way to say it. That's a mic drop. Honor your emotions, but arrest your actions. You better put your actions on check. You better put them on check. You better watch how you're doing what it is that you're doing. There is a time and a place for everything. Hear me. Just because it's the right thing doesn't mean it's the right time. Just because you are right don't mean you're saying it the right way. Don't mean you can't be rude. I posted that one time. Just because you right don't mean you ain't being rude. Y'all better hear what I'm saying. You have you can acknowledge your emotions and you can feel however you want to feel, but you do not have the authority to treat people however you want to treat them. Honor your emotions, but arrest your actions. Ask yourself, is this the right time? Was this timing right? Did I do this correctly? Did I respond to that in the right way? Again, I gotta say it again for the people in the back. You have the right to feel however you want to feel, but you do not have the authority to do what you want to do. Honor your emotions, but arrest your actions. Catch them. Do I need to say that? Catch them. Do I need to act like that? Catch them. Is this the right time for this? Arrest your actions. Number 3, admit. Admit when you are wrong. Admit when you've mishandled things. Admit it. Listen, the worst thing you can do is to pretend like everything is okay. The worst thing you can do is pretend like we all good. Admit it. Listen, I was wrong. I ain't trying to excuse it. I should have done this way. What I should have did was this and I didn't. And here's the thing. When you admit it, listen, expect the downfall. What you need to do, expect that it's going to be a windfall behind it. A lot of times we think just because we say sorry, just because we go ahead and we say, well, let me admit that I was wrong, we think that everything is going to be the way it was. Listen, the devil is a liar. Sometimes things don't get put together back the same way. Sometimes you can damage a piece. Sometimes you can taint a relationship where it's not fully restored like it wants to. You can admit that you're wrong. You can apologize. But sometimes things are not going to fit the way it's going to fit. But guess what? I just told you at the beginning, for as long as the earth shall remain, seed, time, and harvest. You sow certain things, and so certain things you got to reap. When you mishandle people, when you misappropriate your actions, sometimes it's going to be some payback for that. Not even intentionally, but sometimes things are not going to wash back over well. That's why I told y'all, you better honor your emotions, but you better arrest your actions. And last but not least, alleviation. How can we make this thing better? You don't want it to stay thick. You don't want it to stay heavy. You don't want this thing to stay a burden. You don't want this thing to stay something that's on your shoulders and on your back. How do I alleviate the drama? How do I alleviate the tension? How do I alleviate the pain? Well, sometimes it has to do with hushing. If you can hush, you can heal. Sometimes we talking too much. No, this ain't the right time to approach me. No, you don't need to keep talking about the same thing. Sometimes you can stay out of it. If you can hush, you can hear. But if you can hush, you might heal. Sometimes the best code of action to alleviate the drama is not to say anything at all. You have to use discernment. And then on the other side of that, sometimes the way that you alleviate a problem is you nip it in the bud. You deal with it right then. You admit that you were wrong. You acknowledge what you could have did. You admit it. You are aware of what you do. And then that helps alleviate it. Sometimes the people aren't even looking for an apology. What they're looking for is an admittance. Y'all better hear what I'm telling telling you, sometimes people not even looking for an apology. What they're looking for is an admittance. What they're looking for you is to admit, listen, that was handled incorrectly. Listen, this should not have ever happened. They don't even want the sorry, because sometimes you said what you said and you meant what you meant. And so it's okay. One of the things I've never had a problem with is forgiveness. I don't hold things like that. I let things slide off. It's not the forgiveness that's ever an issue for me. But sometimes people have a problem admitting, I admit that I was wrong. I admit that I mishandled you. I admitted that. And sometimes the healing is in the admitting. And when we admit things, it alleviates the drama. It alleviates the tension. It alleviates the drama. I know I said I was gone, but I'm going to say this last thing and I'm going to let y'all go, because I hope that this is a blessing. Communication involves investigation, explanation, intention, and progression. I'm going to say that again because I want somebody to type this. Communication involves investigation, explanation, intention, and progression. One more time for the people in the back. Communication involves investigation, explanation, intention, and progression. Investigation. Before you, I think I posted a couple of weeks ago, stop trying to talk about something you don't know about, or stop trying to discuss what you haven't discerned. That's what I posted. That was a mic drop. Stop trying to discuss what you haven't discerned. You're trying to talk about something and you haven't even investigated the matter. You haven't even found out if that person is even mad. Well, she won't forgive him. Did you even see if she was mad about that? Investigation. First of all, find out what you're talking about. Stop talking about it until you understand what's really going on. Explanation. Give a person an opportunity, if they would like to explain themselves. Some people might not want to, and that is their right. But if you're going to go off on a person, hold on, let me just make sure you said what you said. Let me make sure you did what you did. And then intention. What is your intent? Some people are not going to let you come to them when they feel like your intention is in the wrong place. Some people are not going to let you talk over them when they feel like your intention is wrong. Oh, you just came to me because such and such made you, you can keep it. Sometimes when your intention is out of place, people won't receive you. Check your intention. Why am I coming to them? Why am I having this conversation? Why do I want to put this all out on the table? What's my real intention? Is it so that we can grow? Is it so that I can call them out on something? What's my intention? And last but not least, progression. If we're going to communicate, there needs to be a means to an end. Where are we going with this? Are we trying to get better? Are we trying to do better? Are we trying to put ourselves in a place where we can grow, where we cannot misunderstand next time? What is the progression? How are we getting from the drama to the blessings of it? And so communication involves investigation, explanation, intention, and progression. Listen, y'all, I'm over my time. Y'all know who it is, Alisa Lachelle, the Empowerment Specialist. I hope and pray that this Mic Drop Monday brought you all some help, some hope, and some healing. If you did not get to watch it from the beginning, make a point to go back and watch it from the beginning. If you're just watching or if you're watching the replay, please be sure to hit that share button. I guarantee you there is somebody that needs to know about this. And let me tell you something else. One of the things, and I'm just getting back around to doing it because y'all know I did a whole lot of traveling for a while, but I want you guys to know that you can come to me and book a session with me so that we can discuss whatever it is that you would like to discuss. So many people are in my inbox. So many people are coming to me and saying, I want to talk about this. I want to deal with this. And they're saying, how do I get in touch with you? There's a link. Y'all can come and sign up for a 30-minute session with me or an hour session with me. Book a session with me so that we can have a conversation about your life, about your relationships, about your future. What are you getting ready to do in business and marketing? How do we put this together? You can have a one-on-one empowerment segment with me. Book your session, and I cannot wait to connect with you guys. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Until next time.